Hello and very welcome everyone to this session of the Modern History Previous Year Questions Part 17. In today's session, we are going to discuss some of the questions that has been asked earlier in the exams, and we will also see the type of questions that could come into the upcoming exams. So let's start our session and see what are the topics we are going to cover from today's question set. So the topics are like this. I have got Simon Commission, Gandhi-Irwin Pact Roundtable Conference, and Pune Pact. So very important events of the modern history of India. So let's start our session. So before we start, the images used in our slide deck are for educational purpose only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. So first question that we have is Clement Attlee, who later became the Prime Minister of Britain, came to India as a member of. Options are Revolt Plan, Simon Commission, Cripps Mission, or Cabinet Mission. So think about it and answer this question. And I guess you have figured out the answer of this question because the answer is Simon Commission. So Clement Attlee came to India as a member of Simon Commission. Simon Commission came into India on 3rd of February 1928 and was greeted with the slogan of Go Back Simon. Attlee served the PM of Britain from 1945 to 1951 and he represented the Labour Party at that time. So do remember, Clement Attlee was the member, one of the member out of the 7 members of Simon Commission, also known as the White Commission. And the chairman of this commission was Sir John Simon. And it was formed in 1927 and it came to India in February 1928. Who among the following was not a member of Simon Commission? Options are Harry Levy Lawson, Clement Attlee, James A. Scott, John Simon. So think about it and try to find out the answer of this question. So I guess if you have figured out the answer of this question, then you have a deep knowledge of history. The answer is James A. Scott. Simon Commission, also known as Indian Statutory Commission, was appointed by the British government in 1927 under the chairmanship of John Simon to review the workings of the Government of India Act and suggest future measures. It consisted of 7 British members of parliament, including chairman was John Simon, Clement Attlee, Harry Levy Lawson, Edward Cadogan, Vernon Hart Shawn, George Lane Fox, and Donald Howard. So do remember, answer is James A. Scott. He was not the member of Simon Commission. So do remember his name. And if we talk about the incidents happened after they reached India, so Lala Lajpat Rai died in October 1928 when Simon Commission reached Lahore. And after that, Lahore conspiracy took place. And under that Lahore conspiracy, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru were given death sentence. What was the main reason for boycotting Simon Commission? Options are Lala Lajpat Rai was critically injured in the lathi charge related to the commission. Chairman was Sir John Simon. All the members of the commission were inexperienced. All members of the commission were British. So very simple question, I guess. And I guess once again, the answer you are giving is quite right because I just told you in the earlier questions that what was the reason. So the reason behind the boycott or the neglecting of this commission was all members of the commission were British. The Simon Commission was a group of 7 people that was sent to India by the British government. The commission had arrived in India in the starting of 1928 with John Simon as the leader of this commission, and this is why it was named after him. It was also known as White Commission. The purpose of forming this commission was to look into the Indian constitution system and to make the necessary changes that were needed. The Simon Commission was opposed by many Indians, including Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, Jinnah, and many more. The main reason for opposing this commission was that though it was made for the betterment of India and its people, yet no Indians were member of this commission. If we talk about under which particular act there was a guide that the commission should be there, so the answer is particularly if we talk about 1919 Government of India Act. Under that act, it was given that a commission should be formed after 10 years, but it was formed 2 years prior, that was in 1927, because of the increment of agitation in India. So remember, answer is all members of the commission were British. How many Indian members were there in the Simon Commission? Simple question, I guess. Options 2, 1, 3, 0. Take your time. And I guess the answer you are giving is quite right, because the answer for this question is particularly 0. So the Simon Commission was a group of 7 people that was sent to India by the British government. This commission had arrived in India in the starting of 1928 with John Simon as the leader of this commission, and that is why it was named after him. The purpose of forming this commission was to look into the Indian constitution system and to make the necessary changes that were needed. The Simon Commission was opposed by many Indians, including Jawaharlal Nehru, Mahatma Gandhi, Jinnah, and many more. The main reason for opposing this commission was that though it was made for the betterment of India, its people, yet no Indians were the member of this commission. So the answer is 0. And if we talk about the agitation that was given by the Indians is the reason that the 0 members were appointed from Indian side into this commission. In which year was the Simon Commission a group of 7 British members of parliament appointed by the British government? Options are 1925, 1937, 1927, 1919. Take your time. And I guess the answer we are giving is quite right, because the answer is 1927. Simon Commission was constituted by the British government on 8th November 1927. And if someone asks you that under which act it was to be made, so under 1919 Government of India Act, also known as Monty-Chelmsford Reforms. The commission has to be made in 1929, that is 10 years after that act came. But it came 2 years prior to this, because the agitation in India was started regarding the type of constitution system that was in India. And because of that, Britishers hurriedly appointed this commission with all the members are British. Later on in 1935, the Government of India Act that came in 1935 was based on the recommendation of Simon Commission. Why the Simon Commission was boycotted in 1927? So options are to protest Mahatma Gandhi's arrest, because there was no any Indian in the commission. Opposition to the inclusion of Sir John Simon in the commission, to protest the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So think about it. And I guess the answer you are giving is quite right, because there was no any Indian in the commission. So this commission was boycotted by Indians because it did not include any Indian member. That is why it is also known as the White Commission. Sir John Simon was the chairman. Commission came into India in February 1928, and it became the reason that there was a particular protest in front of the Lahore railway station when lathi charge was ordered by William Scott, and particularly under that lathi charge, Lala Lajpat Rai died. Later on, under the Lahore conspiracy, J.P. Saunders was killed by Bhagat Singh and Sukhdev and Rajguru, that is by H.S. Are. So remember that is Simon Commission was boycotted in 1927 because there were no any Indian in the commission. Prior to which of the following event was the Gandhi-Irwin Pact signed? Third Roundtable Conference, First Roundtable Conference, Second Roundtable Conference, or Lucknow Session of Congress? Think about it. And I guess the answer you are giving is right, because the answer of this question is Second Roundtable Conference. The Gandhi-Irvin Pact was signed on 5th March 1931. That is before the Second Roundtable Conference, 7th September 1931 event. And also before the hanging of Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru. This event was very important in the history of India, the Gandhi-Irvin Pact. Under this pact, all the non-violent protesters were released from the jail, but those who have adopted violence against British government were not, and not even their death sentence. That is why Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev and Rajguru were not released under this pact. So do remember, it was Second Roundtable Conference. Which of the following was stated in the Gandhi-Irvin Pact signed in March 1931? Think about it, guys. And I guess the answer you are thinking is right, because the answer for this question is going to be the civil disobedience movement would be called off. So Gandhi-Irvin Pact was a political agreement signed by Mahatma Gandhi and Irvin, the viceroy at that time in India, on 5th March 1931. Features of Gandhi-Irvin Pact were like, particularly that all the non-violent protesters to be released, and particularly the Salt March, the civil disobedience movement will be called off, and Gandhi will be attending the Second Roundtable Conference to be held in September 1931 in London. But one thing was not accepted by Irvin, that any violent protester or revolutionary would not be released from the death sentence or from jail. And Gandhi-Irvin Pact was a very historical event in the history of India, and it was signed in March 1931. Who was the British Prime Minister during the first Roundtable Conference in London? Options are Stanley Baldwin, Winston Churchill, Anne Chamberlain, and Ramsay MacDonald. Think about it. So the answer is Ramsay MacDonald. So at the time of Roundtable Conference, always remember, the king was George V, the Prime Minister was Ramsay MacDonald, and during the first and the second Roundtable Conference, the Viceroy of India was Lord Irwin. And if we talk about Ramsay MacDonald, so basically he was also the one who put forward the communal award that came to India later on in 1932 after the second Roundtable Conference, and because of which the Pune Pact was signed between Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi in Yerwada Jail, Pune, on 24th September 1932. So do remember, the answer of this question is Ramsay MacDonald. When was the first Roundtable Conference started? October 1929, September 1931, August 1932, November 1930. Think about it. And the answer is quite simple one, because the answer is November 1930. So guys, if we talk about the Roundtable Conference, the first Roundtable Conference, so it happened in November 1930. And let's read out that what is the explanation related to Roundtable Conference. So first Roundtable Conference was held in London on 12th November 1930, but Congress did not participate in it. Second Roundtable Conference, it was held in London on 7th September of 1931, and third Roundtable Conference was also held in London in 17th of November 1932. First Roundtable Conference convened by Labour Government Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald. At that time, Viceroy was Lord Irwin. The Congress boycotted the first Roundtable Conference. After signing the Gandhi-Irvin Pact, Mahatma Gandhi attended the second Roundtable Conference. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar and Tej Bahadur Sapru attended all the three Roundtable Conferences. And it was the second Roundtable Conference in which the woman representative was Sarojini Naidu, and the communal award was put forwarded by Ramsay MacDonald. And particularly if we talk about the Roundtable Conference, so after this, the Simon Commission report was acknowledged. And finally, in 1935, the Government of India Act came. And it was enacted in 1937. When did the second Roundtable Conference begin? November 1930, July 1931, September 1931, or November 1932? Think about it, guys. So I guess the answer you are looking is quite simple and we just did this type of question. So answer is simple. Answer is September 1931. So first roundtable conference was held in London on 12th November 1930, but the Congress did not participate in it. So September 1931 was the time when second roundtable conference was organized. Gandhiji went to London to participate in this conference. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar and was the only person to attend all the three roundtable conferences. Apart from that, if we talk about the second roundtable conference, so Prime Minister at that time was Ramsay MacDonald. George V was the king, and St. James Palace was the venue at where the three roundtable conferences were held. Who represents the Congress in the second roundtable conference held in London? Options: Lal Bahadur Shastri, Vallabhbhai Patel, Jawaharlal Nehru, or Mahatma Gandhi. Think about it. And I hope the answer you are giving is quite right, because the answer is Mahatma Gandhi. So the Congress also participated in the second roundtable conference from 7 September 1931 to December 1, 1931, which was led by Mahatma Gandhi. The conference was attended by Sarojini Naidu and Annie Besant, in which the women were led by Annie Besant. Gandhiji went to London to attend the conference by SS Rajputana ship. The conference failed because of a dispute over the communal award problem. Later on, it was sent to India as a separate electorate was given for the depressed classes, which was supported by Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. Mahatma Gandhi sat on hunger strike in Yerwada jail in Pune. And finally, a pact was signed between Mahatma Gandhi and Bhimrao Ambedkar on 24 September 1932, and that is known as the Pune Pact. So do remember, answer is Mahatma Gandhi. How many demands did Mahatma Gandhi made in his letter to Lord Irwin, some of which were agreed to and came to be known as Gandhi-Irwin Pact? Options are 10, 13, 12, or 11. Think about it. And the answer is 11. So Mahatma Gandhi wanted to make use of salt tax as a powerful means to strengthen the nationalist movement. He wrote a letter to Lord Irwin, the then Viceroy of India, on 31st January 1930, consisting of 11 demands. Mahatma Gandhi had mentioned that if his demands were not fulfilled, he would launch a nationalist movement. But Lord Irwin did not accept the demand, and Mahatma Gandhi started the civil disobedience movement in 1930. On 5th March 1931, Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed, in which Irwin accepted some demands. And the demands that he accepted was that lower the tax on salt, and that is how civil disobedience movement was called off. And apart from that, non-violent protesters will be released from the jail. The revolutionaries were not exempted for this purpose, and all the people who got death sentence at that time were also not exempted. That is why Sukhdev, Rajguru, and Bhagat Singh were sentenced to death on 23rd March 1931 finally. So do remember, answer is 11. In which year Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed? Options are 1940, 1925, 1931, 1920. Think about it, guys. And I guess the answer you are thinking is right, because we just did this question And answer is 1931, specifically 5th of March 1931. So Mahatma Gandhi wanted to make use of salt tax as a powerful means to strengthen the nationalist movement. He wrote a letter to Lord Irwin, the then Viceroy of India, on 31st January 1930, consisting of 11 demands. Mahatma Gandhi had mentioned that if his demands were not fulfilled, he would launch a nationalist movement. But Lord Irwin did not accept the demand. Mahatma Gandhi started the civil disobedience movement in 1930. On 5th March 1931, Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed, in which Irwin accepted some demands, except the demand that all the type of prisoners and revolutionary prisoners to be released. But that demand was not accepted. Later on, Gandhiji became the part of Second Roundtable Conference, and he went as a representative of Indian National Congress along with Sarojini Naidu, who was the representative of a woman in this particular conference. Which of these Indian women participated in the Second Roundtable Conference with Gandhiji? Options are Annie Besant, Sister Nivedita, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, or Sarojini Naidu. Think about it. And the answer is very simple. Answer is Sarojini Naidu. So Mahatma Gandhi represents the Indian National Congress, and Sarojini Naidu represented Indian women in the Second Roundtable Conference. Sarojini Naidu, also known as Nightingale of India, and she also became the first female governor of India and was the governor of UP. So remember her name, Sarojini Naidu. She was also the first Indian woman who became the president of Indian National Congress during the Kanpur session in 1925. So do you remember her name? Her name was Sarojini Naidu. In 1930, who organized the Dalits into the Depressed Classes Association and demanded separate electorate for them? Options are Abdul Ghaffar Khan, Bhimrao Ambedkar, Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru. Think about it. And answer is quite simple because the answer is Bhimrao Ambedkar. So Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar organized the Dalits into the Depressed Classes Association in 1930. He participated in all three roundtable conferences and demanded separate electorate for Dalits. The Pune Pact was an agreement between Mahatma Gandhi and Bhimrao Ambedkar on the reservation of electoral seats for the depressed classes on 24 September 1932 at Yerwada Central Jail in Pune. So, if we talk about the representative of Dalits and depressed classes, that was Mr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. He was also the first law minister in our country at the time of independence. The Pune Pact was related to options are reserving electoral seats for depressed classes, reserving electoral seats for Hindus, reserving electoral seats for Muslims, and reserving electoral seats for Sikhs. So think about it. And you're right. The answer is reserving electoral seats for depressed classes. So on 24th September 1932, along with the efforts of prominent Congress leaders, Pune Pact was signed in between Mahatma Gandhi and Ambedkar. In accordance with this agreement, separate electorate for the Dalits was ended and 147 seats were reserved for them in provincial legislature. In central legislature, total 18 seats were reserved for them. So answer is reserving electoral seats for depressed classes. And this pact was signed in Yerwada Jail, Pune. And particularly if we talk about the Pune Pact, after this, Gandhiji was also became inactive in politics and returned only in 1940 when the August offer came and he started the individual Satyagraha movement. Pune Pact was signed between M.K. Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, M.K. Gandhi, Bhimrao Ambedkar, M.K. Gandhi, Lord Irwin, and M.K. Gandhi, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Think about it. Simple one. The answer is M.K. Gandhi and Bhimrao Ambedkar. So Pune Pact was an agreement between Mahatma Gandhi and Bhimrao Ambedkar on behalf of depressed classes and upper caste Hindu leaders on the reservation of electoral seats for the depressed classes in the legislature of British India in 1932. It was made on 24 September 1932 at Yerwada Central Jail in Pune, India. So this was a pact very famous in the history of India, and after this, particularly Gandhiji became inactive from the Indian politics and particularly came back in 1940 with the individual satyagraha when August offer came. And particularly during this whole time, he became active with the Harijan Sevak Sangh. The Pune Pact Agreement of 1932 was signed between Mahatma Gandhi and which of the following leaders? Options are C. Rajgopalachari, Vinoba Bhave, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, Bhimrao Ambedkar. And question is simple, I guess, now because we have done it in different ways. So think about it and try to figure out the answer fast. And answer is quite simple. The answer is Bhimrao Ambedkar. So in 1932, Bhimrao Ambedkar negotiated the Pune Pact with Mahatma Gandhi. The background of the Pune Pact was the Communal Award of August 1932, which was sent by Ramsay MacDonald, which provided a separate electorate for depressed classes. In which year Pune Pact was signed? 1924, 1926, 1930, 1932. I don't think that this question will trouble you anymore now. And simple answer is 1932. To be specific, it is 24 September 1932. Pune Pact ended the fast that Mahatma Gandhi had undertaken in the jail to protest against Ramsay MacDonald award of a separate electorate to the depressed classes. The Pune Pact was an agreement between Mahatma Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi and Bhimrao Ambedkar, signed in the Yerwada Central Jail, Pune, on 24 September 1932. Madan Mohan Malviya signed on Pune Pact on behalf of Gandhiji. In this pact, instead of the 71 seats given by British to the depressed classes, that was increased to 147 seats. The Communal Award was based on the Lothian Committee. So remember this point. It is very important one, that on which committee's report it was made? Lothian Committee. So answer is 1932. And that's it in this session. Once again, I will meet you in the next session in which we will discuss some more questions related to modern history, and that will help you in your upcoming exams and will help you enhancing in your knowledge. And till the time we meet, bye bye, take care everyone, and see you soon.